Hello and welcome to my channel Making Crafts. So today I am going to be using this collection by Simple Stories. It's called My Story, and I thought that this collection would be perfect for a little journal, one that you could write about yourself, either an event that you had that you went to, or either about yourself for this year, or just a small little book about your whole life if you wanted to. But I really thought that the journaling cards and things worked perfect to be just telling about like using it for the month of, or just using it for the summer. And it was a lot of fun little papers in here. So I'm going through the papers and I'm just deciding which ones are going to just be journaling cards and then which one will be pages in my book. So all the ones like this that have the journaling cards on them or things that you cut out, I'm just setting those aside. And then the pages with all the just prints, that's the ones I'm going to be using for the pages in my journal. But I'm not going to be using all of these since it is cardstock. Putting a lot of cardstock pages into a journal can make it really thick. So I'm going to use some, but not all. So I'm going to start out by just trimming down my pages. And I had a hard time deciding what size journal I wanted to make, but I'm going to make this one 8 by 9. And when you fold it in half, it'll be 8 by 4.5 journal. So all the pages I'm cutting down to 8 by 9. So here are the pieces that I've cut out. I've gone ahead and cut out some of the 4 by 6 journaling cards that I'm going to use as pages. And then I've used these two type of journaling cards. I think they're 4 by 4s and 3 by 4s or 2 by 3s. And I've just left the two together so I could use as a page. And then I'm also going to be using some different colored paper that I have. And this paper is about the weight of copy paper, maybe just a little heavier, but not much if it is any heavier. And I am also then going to be using the cardstock, these sheets, for my journal. So if you want to follow along and create a journal, this is a great journal that for beginners or anyone that's wanting just a quick, fun little journal. You could follow along with this kit or another collection kit and create along with me. And this is one we can create in, one day if you have just a couple of hours to spend. So I'm just going to start out by deciding what order I want my pages in. I'm just going to fold them in half and then put all the pages together. So I am trying to rotate or alternate, I guess I should say, cardstock and then the colored paper or the copy paper, the thinner paper. So my idea for this book was that the cardstock would be great places to add pictures and other things too, and then the thinner paper would be great writing pages so that you could write and add photos to this journal. And I picked out a few colors. Like this page here is just a tea stain looking page, but it is not actually tea stained. This paper came this way. It's just like a marbled look in it. And I had some blue paper, but I couldn't find it, so I decided just to add the cream color papers and pinks and purples to this just to match the colors that's in the kit. But if you did not have this color paper, you could just add tea stain paper, or you could add just copy paper. Just plain white copy paper would work as well. So I'll come back and add those pages later, but I'm going to go ahead and add in these journaling cards. And I think this one is the 4 by 4, and then this is the 3 by 4 journaling cards. But I left those together so I could fold them in half and make them a page. And then for the 4 by 6 journaling cards, I'm just going to measure it along with the cover of the book and decide where to fold. And then I'm just going to fold it. So one side of the page at the beginning of the book will be the whole length or width of the book. But then on the back side, one of the pages, it'll just be a little flap. And I think it's cute to do that. Now I was going to use this one, but when I realized how much I need to fold, I don't think that I want to use that one because it's going to cut off the words that was on the card, so it would kind of look a little strange. So really deciding where to put these is really up to you, which order you want your pages in and where you want these little miniature pages. I'm just kind of alternating around so that I don't have, everything in the same spot. It's kind of just spaced out throughout the book so that, the whole front of the book doesn't have all of the features or have the flaps, and it's not all in the back of the book. It's kind of just spaced out so that there's a little bit everywhere. So as I go through the book, I'm trying to decide what all I want to add and how many pages I do want this. Since this is a smaller journal, I did not want to add so many pages that it's just so thick, alligator mouth at the very beginning. I love my books to be thick, but I wanted this one to have plenty of room to add more to it and to add photos and different things to it. So I didn't want it to be so thick at the beginning of the journal that you really couldn't add anything as you use the journal. Now this project is my design team project for the rubber buggy, and I chose this paper from the rubber buggy when I saw it because it was my story and I thought it would look perfect for a journal. And there are other collections by Simple Stories that would make great journals as well. It just depends on what type of journal that you are wanting to create. There's a lot of neat ones out right now by Simple Stories. So I will link below to this collection, and I may can link to the Simple Stories page. So now that I have the book put together, I realized that I'm not sure that I'm happy that the cover is the same size. So typically I create my cover a little larger than the pages, but this time I wanted it to all be pretty much the same size. And I realized I don't like those pages sticking out because that's what's going to happen when you fold the pages. I thought I would like all the colors sticking out, but for me, that's not the look I was going for this time. So I'm just going to come in with my X-Acto knife and my metal ruler, and I'm just going to slowly slice the edge of the pages off. And so when I do this, I'm just doing one little layer at a time. So I'm lightly doing it. I'm not pressing really hard or risking, cutting myself or messing up the book. So I just continue to do it, go through each page, and like I said, it's probably cutting one page at a time. And sometimes when you get to the cardstock, I was going light enough that I had to cut it twice. But that's the best way for me to do it because I'm very scared of X-Acto knives where they're so sharp. So I like to just take it slow and and I think you do better cutting if you do just slice lightly as you go instead of trying to cut through the whole stack. So I like this a lot better. I think it looks better to trim the edges off. And so I've just left a little bit down here at the bottom that's not squared up. So I'm just going to trim off the little bit of paper that was left hanging over. And it's probably not perfectly straight, but I like how it looks. So I'm going to go ahead and round the corners on the front and back pages, on all of the pages in the book, actually the cover as well. And I'm just going to use the smaller corner punch, and I can't remember the size of it right off, but this is just your normal We Are Memory Keepers corner punch. And so I'm just going to use the smaller for the outside here and as well for the pages. So I want to show you here, when you are trimming the corners on your thinner paper, like your copy paper size, be sure to double up your pages. So here I'm just using one of the thinner papers along with a piece of cardstock. That seems to sturdy it up enough that it cuts the corner good. Sometimes if you just cut the copy paper, it will not cut the corner completely off. A punch doesn't do well on thinner paper. So I do try to layer them up for that. So now I'm just going to add some paper clips to this journal. Since this is a small journal, I think the paper clips work perfect for it to hold it together while I sew it. Now for this one, I'm going to be doing a different binding than I normally do. I'm going to punch 7 holes in this one. So I'm going to use my mat to help me measure the holes. So I'm just lining the top of my book up with a line on the map, and then every inch I am going to punch a hole in the book with my awl. And I think that just using the mat is close enough that I didn't need to mark it and eyeballing it like this. I think it's plenty fine. So I am finding that if I don't pull the book up each time, then I can, and I just punch the hole, but maybe not all the way through. I'm just getting the very tip of it out of the side of the book. But by doing so, it helps me to keep it lined up on the mat. And then I'm just going to come back through and make the holes larger after I get all of the holes in the place that they need to be. You could go through and use your ruler and mark the holes with a pencil if you wanted to, but I felt like putting it on the mat here was fine for me. So I've gone ahead and laid out some cotton thread that I'm going to use to sew this up with. I am going to let the thread show. I'm not going to cover it up with lace or anything like I normally do. So I'm just going to use the cotton thread because I thought that it would look good with this cover. And this is a bit more holes than I normally use on my journals, but it's still not that difficult to sew. It's pretty simple to sew it this way. And the reason I'm using more holes, I forgot to mention that, was because I did add those little flaps, those journaling cards and different things as pages. And if I'd only done 3 holes like I normally did, then I may have missed one of those cards, or it would only be held in by one hole would have went through it and held it in. And so I wanted to make sure that I had those scattered throughout the book and be, some higher, some in the middle of the page, some lower. And by doing that, then if I did the 3 holes, I would probably miss some of them when I was sewing it in. So to sew with the 7 holes, you start out in the center. So you start it inside your book and pull your needle through to the outside using on the center hole. Then you come back in the 3rd hole from the top, which is right next to the center hole, and you go inside your book with that one. So then we're going to go out of the 2nd hole from the top. And right now I'm just pulling my strings tight as I go, and then back in to the book from the top hole. So the 1st hole we made. And so it's very simple like that. We're just going in and out, up and down the book. So now we'll just go down into the 2nd hole. We'll go from the inside of the book to the outside of the book through the 2nd hole. And then we'll go back down into the 3rd hole. We'll go from the outside to the inside on the 3rd hole. And then we're going to come out of the middle hole. So the 4th hole down, which is going to be our center hole, we're going to go back from the inside of the book out through that hole. And so now we're going to go down the bottom of our book, just pretty much like we did the top. We are just going, in and out of the holes. And you kind of want to tighten it as you go. At the end we can tighten a little bit more, but you do want to try to tighten it as you go. It makes it a little easier in the end. So now we're going to go from the center hole down to the 5th hole from the top, or the 3rd hole from the bottom, I guess you should say. But it's our 5th hole. We're going to go from the outside of the book into the inside. Now sometimes if your needle won't go through, just go from the inside, stretch that hole a little bit, and then come back around. And that's what I'm having to do with this one because the hole just was not large enough for my needle from the outside. So now we're just going in the 5th hole. Then we'll go down to the 6th hole, and we'll go from the inside to the outside. And then down to the 7th hole. We'll go from the outside to the inside. And so it's pretty simple to see where you need to go each time, because if you'll look here, there are missing spaces, on the spine here. So we're going to fill in all those spaces. So you got one missing there, and then on the inside you have 2 spaces missing. So as we go up, we fill in those spaces. So that's how you can tell that you are staying in the right direction. So now we're just going back through the 6th hole, and then we will go from the outside in to the 5th hole. And hopefully this is making sense. It's a lot to say, but hopefully you can follow along just by watching the video. So once we come in the 5th hole, now we're just going to take our needle and we're going to slide it up under the thread that's going into the center hole. So we're just going to slide it through there, and then we will just tie knots into the thread. So I'm going to tie a few knots in the thread, But before you tie the knots, you do want to check and make sure everything is tight, that your threads on the outside are tight, and then you can just, you know, do a good tug on it when you're tightening it. When you're tying the thread, just tug it real good, but not too much. You don't want to rip your paper. Remember, we're working with paper, so don't tug too hard on it. And I just like to check every so often as I'm tying the knots to make sure that everything is tight enough. You don't want any of your threads just hanging loose on the outside. And so I'm going to put about 3 knots in this one. And then I'm just going to tie a bow in the center, and then I'll just trim off the excess. So there you can see the stitches on the outside, and they're spaced pretty evenly apart where I used the guide of the mat. So for this journal, I've gone through and cut out the journaling cards, some of the 4x4s and some of the 3x4s, and I'm going to use them for various pockets throughout the journal. And then I've also cut out some pockets using some of the scrap paper that was left over from where we cut down the pages. I'm also using the stickers. I'm popping some of those up, and then I am just adding some of the stickers to the page. And so I'm just going to leave you with watching how I put this together. You really don't need a lot of measurements to do this. For the pockets that I cut, you know, to fit my pages, I just measured my page and then cut them a little smaller so that they would fit inside the page. If they were the width of the page, I cut them a little smaller so that, you know, just keep in mind that you need to be able to close your book, so you don't want anything too close to your spine. And so it's fairly simple to cut the pockets. I didn't do anything, any special pockets with this. They're just flat pieces, and then I add a glue, you know, to 2 or 3 edges to make it a pocket. So I'm just going to leave you to watch the video and to see me put this together, especially if you want to follow along and create using this same kit. You should be able to have a completed journal by finishing watching the video. I'll come back at the end and I'll do a flip through so I can show you how where I'm going to add all the stickers and things, because I probably won't add all the stickers in the video since that would get be a very long video, and it's a lot of fun adding the stickers anyway, so you probably want to do the stickers wherever you feel like they're needed. But so I'm just going to leave you now to watch the video and see how I create this journal, and hopefully it's, even without me telling you what I was doing, you can follow along with this kit and create your own journal. And if you have any questions, be sure to ask me below. So here is the completed journal, and I want to just show you a few things that I added to it. And I've kept the outside the same as in the video. But on the inside, I started adding stickers and different things, and I've gone ahead and added the journaling cards. And there were so many journaling cards from the kit that I didn't have to really make any journaling cards. I just cut them out and used those. And I know I put this sticker on in the video, but then I think I come back after the video and added this one. So throughout, you're going to see some different stickers and things that I've added. But in the video, I tried to just show you how you can create your journal by adding the pockets and the different things to it. And then the stickers are a lot of fun. You can just add them wherever you want to. So I decided with this set, there are so many words. And so I decided that I would put a word just about on every page, and I put them in different spots on the pages. I thought they went really good with the theme. So if there wasn't a word, like this sticker has a word, if there wasn't a word already on the page, then I went ahead and just added another word to the page. So this one had share your story, where I put the stickers here, so I didn't put one of the little word stickers, but then I did put it over here. And then like I said, I filled all the pockets with all the journaling cards and all the bits from the kit. And then I've added stickers here, and then once again another word, remember, there, and then love, and then I've added the little sticker on there. I really had fun with these stickers and just going through and stickering up this book. And I think I used most of the word stickers in this book. Let me see my sticker sheet real quick, I'll show you. But I didn't show you that because I figure you will want to put your stickers wherever that you see that it fits like it should fit. And that was, a really fun part, was just adding stickers. I love using stickers, so this was fun for me to go through and just pick out which ones I want to use and add to the book. And so you will see throughout the book that I did add some stickers, like at the bottom of the page here. Here's the belly band. And I don't remember if I did this belly band on camera or not, but this belly band is just one of the journaling cards that came on one of the sheets. Let me show you. Some of them came and they were long journaling cards like this, little tags. So I just took this tag and made it a belly band, and I don't remember if I showed that in the video or not. So that is one thing I may have added off camera, because I just had that left over and I thought it looked really good there. And then I've just added a write your own story, one of the wording there. I loved how the font was on this wording, so it's kind of like a typewriter font. So I thought it was fun to add them to each page, and it gave each page a little something. I did try to leave the solid pages a little plain so that there's plenty of room for writing, because my thoughts were with this book was the cardstock pages would be great for pictures and different things like that. And then the plain pages would be great for writing, but you wouldn't have to do that. You could write on the cardstock pages as well, but that's just was my thoughts that you would do with this journal. And so here you can't hardly see the words, they blend in. And down in here, this page is busy enough. I didn't add anything else to it. It was busy enough I didn't feel like it needed it. And so then there's that one, grateful. And then some more tags. So there's plenty of tags and journaling cards in the kit, so I didn't really need to go looking for any more. And then there's the pocket we made, and I've just added wording to these little pockets and things too. And then I've added a sticker here on the page just to dress the page up a little bit, and then one here. I've added some wording on this little flap here, and another sticker and some wording. So that's what this one came together really quickly. And so I left these like they are, and I figure whoever uses this journal can write on this and then add it to a page if they want to. They could glue it anywhere in the book that they wanted to. You could glue this on. So I kind of left it too that whoever got this could really use it too and add to it. I really had a lot of fun making it, and this was a quick one to put together. I did this one in just a few hours one evening, and so I do love how it turned out. And I love just taking a paper pack like this and just using the paper pack only and not having to worry about, going and searching through my stash for more items. I love fun little journals like this. And I love little quick projects sometimes. Sometimes you need a quick project just to to finish a project, just to accomplish something and get you excited about working on the next one. And so here are more journaling cards. I thought it was some really neat little journaling cards and tags in the kit. or in the pack. So that is it. I didn't put anything on the back, and I have just left the spine plain with the stitching, like I left the stitching showing. Sometimes I cover that up, but I kind of liked it this time, so I left it. I don't know if I showed you, but I added this paper clip here, and then inside this is just a tag from the collection as well. It says Life is a Ride, and then you got journaling. That's what I loved about the tags. All the tags in the kit had journaling spots and lines on the back so that you could journal. So I just added there. But where I popped this up, the tag kept falling out, so I decided just to bring in one of these little gold paper clips that I got and use it to hold the tag in there. And then you saw me make this in the video, and just another little spot to journal. And this pocket, it's big enough you could add more stuff in there if you wanted to. Well, I hope that you have enjoyed this video and that it has inspired you to take a 12 by 12 collection pack and just create a little journal out of it. I think it's a quick little way to create a journal, but when you get done, you have a nice size journal to work in. And I could have made this one even larger. I have several things left. So out of this collection kit, I have the sticker sheet left, just a few stickers left. I've used most of those. Then I have some of the journaling cards and scraps of paper that was left over. And then I actually have like a half sheet and then a couple of full sheets. So I will have to come up with something to use those in. But I really love this paper pack. I love that it was my story, and you can use this journal to write your own story and use it for a certain time of your life, or to use it for just a month or even for a year. You could just, take it slow and just do a page here and there. Well, thank you so much for watching, and I hope that this has inspired you to try one of these little journals.